In this Monster Hunter Wilds video, we're going to be taking a look at the Charge Blade and explain just how to use this in Monster Hunter Wilds. There have been some changes to the way the Charge Blade works in this installment of the series, so whether you're a new player just wondering how this weapon works or you're a returning player looking to see what the changes are and how they affect the weapon, watch on for some helpful information. The Charge Blade in Monster Hunter Wilds is one of two morph weapons in the game, and the Monster Hunter community has given this weapon the title of the most technical weapon. As such, this weapon is hard to recommend for new players to the series, and you would probably be better off playing with other weapons like the longsword until you've learned the Monster Hunter Wilds ropes a bit. However, learning this weapon is not as overwhelming as one might think, so don't think you'll never be able to use it. This weapon gives hunters stylish strikes and excellent damage, all while literally chainsawing enemies to death. So to start, let's take a look at the basic combos of the Charge Blade. The first combo is the sword basic combo, which allows you to approach from a distance and use the sword shield thrust attack. You perform this by pressing Y and B simultaneously, and then Y, and then Y and B simultaneously again, or triangle and circle, and then triangle, triangle, and then triangle and circle simultaneously if you're playing on PlayStation. The next combo starts with a charge double slash, and charging will allow you to perform an elemental boost for your shield. To do this, you press and hold B and release, and then press right trigger plus B, press and hold B again, and then press Y plus B. Or on PlayStation, press and hold circle and release, press R2 plus circle, press and hold circle again, and then press triangle plus circle. The next combo will lead directly into the axe form from the sword and shield mode and deal massive damage, and this is the File Elemental Discharge combo. You perform this by pressing Y plus B, and then Y plus B again, and then B, and then Y plus B, or triangle plus circle, 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 and then triangle plus circle. And then lastly, the super amped element discharge combo is the bread and butter of the Charge Blade and is the source of its massive damage. You perform this by pressing right trigger plus Y, and then Y plus B, or R2 plus triangle, and then triangle plus circle. The core mechanic of using the Charge Blade weapon is accumulating sword energy by attacking enemies while in sword mode, and transferring that energy to files. You do this by pressing right trigger plus B on Xbox or R2 plus circle on PlayStation, and then using the stored energy in that file to enhance your attacks. And you'll enhance your attacks with either elemental damage or physical damage depending on the type of file that your Charge Blade has. You can now also overcharge the files in Monster Hunter Wilds for more added damage while using the axe mode. The number of files consumed by your attack depends on the move used, as some axe mode attacks like the super amped elemental discharge attack empty all of your remaining files. There are two types of Charge Blade files, the element files and impact files, and different Charge Blades will come with different types of energy files, so you want to pay attention to these when deciding which to use. The weapon we're using in this video gives Thunder Element files, and you can use these files to enhance your axe with the Thunder Element when using a weapon with this type of files. In Monster Hunter Wilds, the Charge Blade receives some extended combo paths or reworked files, and the Power Axe mode, also known as the Savage Axe mode, has received a few changes. Let's start off with the Savage Axe mode. Triggering the mode in Monster Hunter Wilds now reduces the file usage of your Axe's file enhanced attacks, including your amped elemental discharge, which is performed by pressing Y plus B or triangle plus circle, meaning you can now stay in axe mode effectively twice as long before you have to fill your files. By timing your attacks with the axe in this mode, you can deal multi-attack hits on the monster. This can be done by holding your attack input the moment your attack strikes the monster. It can be tricky to pull off, but with a little practice you can consistently perform this and get additional damage out of your attacks. The Charge Blade has a few pathways to get into the Power Axe mode. The most simple way is the mounted attack finisher, and landing the finisher attack will give you the Power Axe mode. The second way is by performing a perfect guard and following up with a Savage Axe Slash, which is Y on Xbox or triangle on PlayStation, leading you into the Power Axe mode buff. You can also get the buff after a successful Power Clash and by following up with a Savage Axe Slash. And the last method is through the Focus Strike Double Slash, which is performed while in focus mode by pressing RB on Xbox or R1 on PlayStation. Regardless of which mode you're in, the strike does the same move with you hitting the wound with a double sword slash, then switching into the axe mode to do an attack similar to the chainsaw move. Successfully landing this attack and destroying the wounds will grant you the Power Axe mode buff. Even though the Power Axe mode reduces the energy file usage by half for attacks, the super amped elemental discharge attack, Y plus B or triangle plus circle, while you have 3 or more charged files in axe mode, will still use up all of your charged files. Unlike the previous Monster Hunter games, you can now overcharge the excess energy accumulated with your sword strike to get the overcharged files to prevent your sword from bouncing off the monster. This is a welcome addition, as this will give hunters even more damage potential when using the axe mode and elemental discharge attacks. The overcharged files also extend the duration of the shield buff from elemental boost, and after charge you press and hold B on Xbox or circle on PlayStation to perform the elemental boost. Another change to the charge blade is that you can now choose between going into the super amp discharge or doing a long combo loop with your elemental discharge attack, pressing B on Xbox or circle on PlayStation. This is done by adding an extra attack called the Amped Elemental Discharge follow-up after your normal Amped Elemental Discharge combo. After the follow-up attack, you can either choose to use your Super Amped Element Discharge and dump all of your damage into the monster, or if the window is not enough, you can transition back into the start of your Element Discharge combo to either reposition or charge your files back up as needed. The shield boost also received a considerable upgrade, as you can charge your shield after any charging strike from the sword during a combo, and then by holding the charge button or after charging your files. This will transfer the energy from the files to your shield and give you the boost. It also gives you a guard point, which will greatly increase your defensive capabilities and give your shield an element boost in one fluid combo. The addition of Focus Mode is a strong addition for the Charge Blade, as the Focus Mode makes it easier to block the monster's attack in the Sword Mode and land your Element Discharge in the Super Amped Elemental Discharge while in your Axe Mode, lessening the chance to waste your stored up files into thin air. Final tips. The Charge Blade is a very strong weapon if you can learn its intricacies, and provides a decent block with its shield and easy accessibility to both elemental and physical damage. The addition of the perfect guard and power clashes provides even greater options for both defense and offense, so learning when to use the sword and shield to block an attack and when to use the axe mode to evade and deal damage is what this weapon is all about now. File management will also affect how you perform with this weapon greatly, as the file charged attacks and shield boost will give you considerable buffs to your damage and defense. Learning what type of element the monster is weak to will also help in choosing your charge blade for maximum efficiency, since most of the damage of the charge blade comes from the file infused attacks. Even though the sword mode is relatively mobile, you can get caught in a powerful attack if you're stuck mid-combo or in axe mode. Thus, it is important to know the monster's attack patterns and evade with the weapon sheathed or mounted on the secret in some instances. For secondary weapons, Charge Blade users can utilize two different Charge Blades, with one offering elemental files and the other providing impact files. As a pure Charge Blade user, you can also put different element types in different weapon slots in order to give you the element types that you need for certain monsters that you're hunting if you prefer. As a secondary weapon for the Charge Blade, the Sword and Shield can provide a versatile option while you recover during your hunts, with its ability to guard and the flexibility to use potions while having your weapon unsheathed, giving you a great option to recover before going back in with your Charge Blade for the offense. In conclusion, the Charge Blade remains the most technical weapon in Monster Hunter, but it offers hunters a stylish weapon with high skill expression and the potential for dealing massive amounts of damage if you can master it. So that wraps up our Charge Blade guide. I hope it gave you guys some insight into this weapon. It can be a very difficult weapon to learn, but once you have it down, it's really, really fun to play. And there have been a lot of great additions to the weapon in Monster Hunter Wilds. I hope we explained them clearly in this video. As always, if you have other tips that we didn't mention in this video, if you have questions about the Charge Blade, please leave them in the comments below, and I will try and answer them as soon as I can.